Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. There's this question that's been kind of bothering me. Well, not bothering me, but it's kind of lingering at the back of my head. What does Rupert Lowe really want? Like, what is his true intention? What is his main strategy? The core principle, according to Rupert Lowe, behind why he set up this Restore Britain movement in the first place was to unify different people together, to unify and gather up the strong, courageous people who have principle, who have capability, who have talent, and have kind of that character to them, who all follow along the same line of viewpoints, essentially, in order to hopefully dismantle all of the nonsense and the rubbish and the infectious pile of rubbish that has infiltrated its way through every part of our country, the fabric of our society, and basically every institution that you can think of in this country. It's been infiltrated, it's been captured by the state, by the establishment, by the Fabian Society. I've been learning a lot about it. I listened to Charlie Downs a few days ago. He came up on Andrew Gold's YouTube channel on his show, and the way he was describing, how do we actually strategize on dismantling everything? How do we kind of get through Parliament and rupture like this kind of all of this mess that's going on, the uni party, and we need a kind of a social, cultural, as well as a political earthquake. Not a few changes here and there. There has to be a radical solution to the problems that we have in this country. And the way that he was describing the Human Rights Act, Charlie Downs was basically saying, in order to tackle the number one issue that's bothering a lot of people, well, the majority of the general British public, is immigration, mass, uncontrolled, illegal and legal immigration, is to repeal the Human Rights Act, get rid of that act, leave the ECHR. And the way he was talking about it is he was basically singing along the same hymn sheet as Ben Habib. They're both talking about the same things hand in hand. There is no disagreement between them two about how, what kind of strategy we need to get rid of these illegals and close off the borders. It's by repealing the Human Rights Act. Charlie Downs has a very deep, profound understanding of this, and I'm sure Rupert Lowe has as well. So a lot of people don't understand why Rupert Lowe hasn't sort of teamed up with Ben Habib and just gone full throttle with the advance, because with them two together working alongside each other, it would be major for the advanced party. So the way that Rupert Lowe has been talking about it, especially on the podcast Lotus Eaters, he was talking to Carl Benjamin. He wants to unify people together. He thinks that Charlie Downs said this as well. A political party, it runs into several obstacles of not being able to draw in people simply for the fact that it does divide people, that you're either part of the party or you're not. And Rupert Lowe and Charlie, they didn't want that. They wanted to set up a movement to see where things go, to see how the political landscape pans out. And I believe by 2028, that's the year when Rupert Lowe goes, it's crunch time. He has to say to himself, we've got to get behind a singular political entity, whichever political entity that may be, whether it be Advance, Reform, or the Tory party. They have to make a move. So I can see what Rupert Lowe is trying to do. He's kind of biding his time, perhaps in a kind of manipulative, deceptive manner, to kind of nudging Ben Habib to kind of letting him do all the heavy lifting. Put your money where your mouth is and get your party up to the numbers that you wish to achieve. Get yourself in the polls and overtake Reform so that we can join in with you. It's kind of a deceptive way of doing things, but I guess that's just the rough and tumble nature of politics. But I think Rupert Lowe really wants Advance to succeed and wants Ben Habib to prove himself, and for the whole of the Advance party to prove themselves, so that we can get ahead in the polls, get enough MPs, get enough support from the general public, which is still, I believe, a slim chance, but it is still a potential. But Rupert Lowe wants to wait on that. But I think 2028, or perhaps even earlier, 2027, is going to be the the year that things start to happen and action needs to take place. Some people suspect that he's been eyeing up the Tories. I don't believe that's happening. I don't think that Rupert Lowe wants to do that. I don't think he's going to team up with the Tories at all. I would be hugely disappointed if he did so. But if he went into the Tory party and said, you know what, let's just fire off these incompetent, useless Tories and let's set up the Tory party from scratch, just dismantle everything, give it a fresh start, bring this Restore Britain movement and bulldoze our way through the Tory party and change the name to Restore Britain, whatever, and then keep all the good ones, Suella Braverman, Nick Timothy, Katie Lamb. Let's keep all the good MPs, the young Tories that I really like, let's keep them as well, and then start anew, start afresh. That would be the better strategy, not teaming up with the Tories. That would divide people, actually. That's kind of the end of the points that I wanted to make in this video, but there's one other point that I wanted to make. So Tommy Robinson, he came up on Peter McCormack's show. He was interviewing him, and he said there's different politicians from around the world, from European countries as well as from Canada and Australia. They're coming to speak at the 13th of September rally, but out of the 650 MPs, not a single British MP is attending. And I find that very strange coming from Rupert Lowe. What's the reason not to attend this rally? Because this is a major kind of revolution that we're trying our best to awaken the British public. You know, it'd be huge, it would be massive if Rupert Lowe could make it to that rally. I still don't know if he's attending, but it doesn't look like it. You know, the way he was talking about it, Carl Benjamin said, Tommy's inviting you to come to this rally. You know, it'd be huge if you came along. And, you know, the way he was talking about it, he just wasn't really keen on joining the rally. I just thought, why? You know, maybe the only reason I can think of is, you know, he's kind of distancing himself from Tommy because he doesn't fully understand what is going on with Tommy Robinson's movement. And I get that, because when you don't understand something, you tend to keep your distance from it. That's what happened to me when I was doing all my research into politics and culture and all that and history. I kind of distanced myself from Tommy Robinson as well. I never thought he was racist. I never thought he was a bigot or far right or this and that nonsense. I wasn't fully indoctrinated or anything like that, but I did keep a sensible distance because I just simply didn't understand all of the nuance that was going on with Tommy Robinson's English Defence League and this and that. So that's the only reason I can see why Rupert Lowe would be distancing himself from Tommy Robinson. But still, there's no reason not to kind of unify around the same kind of viewpoint. We all basically agree on the same thing. So I'm just hoping and praying that Rupert Lowe does endorse Advance all the way. When it comes to that year, 2028, that's going to be the big year, I think. Restore Britain, they've got to make a move. You can't facilitate all the necessary changes to save this country through a movement. It's got to be through political means. It's got to be through a political party. So I guess Rupert Lowe is biding his time, seeing how the political landscape pans out and seeing which party actually props itself up, has a genuine potential to win the next general election, and also has all of the right viewpoints, ideas and strategies, policies, plans that are basically 99% commensurate with what the people within Restore Britain are looking for. That's just my view on it. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. I just wish Rupert Lowe and Ben Habib could just work together, honestly. It's time we all unify together. Those are my views. Guardian Mode clocking out. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you very much for tuning in. God bless.